Hello and welcome to TF Gear's latest sea fishing DVD, and this one is all about South Wales. Now this morning we were down at Penarth, and although the fishing wasn't fantastic, Alan Yates here managed to save the day with a small codling at the end. But now we've moved and we're here at Barry. This is a very famous place, it's called Friars Point. And as you can see, it's a little bit exposed, but we've got some really nice ground here, decent fishing conditions, and Alan, as you'd expect, has got off to a good start. Not what you're after, Al, but just show us what you've got to...
Well, we've got the, this is a Welsh dogfish. Only a little one, but it's the start. It's the first cast, so it's the first fish.
Now, I know you don't mind catching dogfish, do you? A lot of people don't like it, but tell us why.
I mean, they are the scourge, really, because when you're after bigger fish, they take the bait. So everybody hates them, really. But if that's all it's about, I match fish sometimes. It's good to get a bite, you know what I mean? Rather these than nothing. So
well, let's just hope we catch something a little bit bigger later on. But I'll tell you what I always struggle with dogfish. Getting the hook out. So
yeah, well, the first thing you've got to watch is if you grab a dogfish by the head like that, you'll see that he rubs his tail.
That's what always happens to me, Al.
This skin is very abrasive. I mean, the old days they used to use, the Fletchers used to rub their arrows down with this. Robin Hood's day, that's what they used, dogfish skin. And it can graze you quite nasty. A bigger one will. This is a puny little one, really. But so the way to hold them is like that.
Ah.
Then you can work the hook out.
Ah, that's very good.
Now, the problem with dogfish is that they do take the bait well down, and you don't really want to damage them. So what we use is a disgorger. Now this one's quite clever, because we can see if we can do it. We put it down the hook, and then you use the weight of the fish to plop it off.
Brilliant.
Now that didn't hurt the fish at all. And you know, it's such an easy way than girding it like that and go like this, and use the weight of the fish to take it off the hook. It's a bit of knack to it. That's all there is. It's practice, you know. There you go. You can see it's quite a big hook.
Well, let's just hope.
I'm not after dogfish.
No, I know you're not, and we're not quite sure what we're going to catch here, if anything. But who knows? Only time will tell. The tide's coming in. Conditions are improving. So let's just hope we get a good late afternoon session. So, what are you using for bait today?
Well, I've got a variety of baits here, but I'm just going to put a sand eel on. This is not for a cup of tea, this is my food flask, and it's a great idea to keep your sand eels frozen in one of these. See, they're still frozen.
They are.
So, what the trouble with sand eels is the bellies burst when they get soft, and the insides come out, and they just don't work so well. So you can keep them really frozen in a flask.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got, put the lid back on, we'll have some more for later. Right. I've got a single hook, a 3/0, and the method to put these on is we thread it through about an inch. Pull it right through, take it out, thread it through again, and out the head area. You can chop the head off if you want to. A lot of people think that because the gills are there, that's where all the blood is, it's a good idea just to snip the head off, and it sort of leaches a bit of blood out. But now once you've done that, you need a bit of elastic cotton.
Is that just to stop it sliding back down the hook?
Yeah, because the fish will pull it off the hook. And if you notice, you've got exposed the eye. We've gone in, out and in again. So what we do is a good wrap. Don't be frightened to put too much on. Fish don't know what it is. I don't think they do anyway. But if you wrap it either side of the eye in the knot, that locks it in position. It can't really move. Now, we've got one like that. Now you could fish with that. That's a good dogfish bait, that is. But if we put another one on, just lash another one on, make the bait a bit bigger. These sand eels come in varying sizes. You know, you can get big ones and little ones, but these are about medium. Put another one on, make it a little bit more substantial. Just lay it alongside and wrap some more cotton. That's all you've got to do. That's a bit more substantial, that's more of a ray bait. I mean, you could always put a sliver of squid alongside it, or even a lump of crab, anything, to make it more bulky, bigger, more juicy, but that usually is as good as anything. I'm just going to snip that head off so we get some blood. See that?
Yeah.
Plug in there. Tidy it up with the scissors. And that will go on this pulley rig, tucked in there like that, ready to cast.
Nice job.
Yep. And a big ray. Where's your money on a dogfish?
I think the dogfish are a bit of a pest, to be honest.
They can be, yeah.
But I'm hoping for a ray.
We hope for better things.
Now you've got a reel here, Alan. It's a Force 8 S-Mag 65, and I know that you're very excited about it. So tell us all about this reel.
Yeah, well, I've been testing it for a year. The first models we had a year ago, and the unique thing about it is it's a one-piece alloy frame. That means you don't get too much distortion, because a lot of the frames with bars, they can distort. The designer was also built in a bigger diameter spindle on the spool, so that also is against the old bowing and the spool moving. So it's really, and that's important, because what this reel is designed for is long range and pulling in fish. Although a lot of people think this is a great casting reel because it's got magnetic brakes, it's got the normal centrifugal brakes, it's got a small tournament handle. It is essentially a fishing reel. This small handle is the small handle and star drag is the typical tournament type of handle. There will be a power handle available, but overall, I mean, it's built for long distance, and it's built for power to bring a fish in. You know, you want a 5, 6 pound, 7 pound cod, you want to be able to get it back, and if you're fishing rough ground, you want to be able to get it back fast. It's got one important thing I like about any mongrel prize, to have a ratchet. It's so nice to have a ratchet. You know, it sounds good, doesn't it? Spool release is a simple push button release, and the spool re-engages when you turn the handle. So ball bearings in each end, adjustable. The magnetic brake knob on this one, it's slightly longer than on the other TF gear Force 8s, the standard with the frame model. It's been lengthened a little bit, so you can get hold of it while you're casting and adjust it while you're casting. So overall, no, impressed, very impressed, great reel.
Great, well done. Okay, Al, this is it now, mate. You know,
I feel a bit more confident now.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready to see you, you know, working out. This could be it, Al.
Now's the time, I think.
I think it is. I think this is the moment approaching. I'm confident, Al.
I've been confident all day.
I've actually been confident all day, but you've let me down.
Too right.
Haven't you, really?
Put that one over there.
Right, we're on the top now.
Miracles performed
We can't
here.
go any further up because
right.
we'll be fishing on the land.
All we want is a miracle, that's all. One with crab on it. Proper bite is a proper bite, you know, it'll like that. Just a dogfish playing with it. This is something animate that's going round the corner. It's a bass, I think. Oh, bloody hell, lovely bass. Gorgeous! Woohoo! What about that then? So that was a bass bite I had just now. Had a big slack line, 10 yards slack line. Old spiky. That's what you've got to be careful of. Fins on the back, and there. Took a bit of peeler crab. Everything comes to those that wait, they say. About £4, not a monster, but considering the day we've had, excellent. Yeah, we'll put him back. He's gone. Didn't want to keep him out of the water too long. Get him back as quick as we can, let him grow a bit bigger. Might catch him when he's £20, you never know.
Now Alan, I suspect there's a lot of people like myself that when they go sea fishing, they can't be bothered making complicated rigs, so they only go periodically. And what I like here is that there's a little diagram on the back of these packets which tells me what I'm fishing with, but tell us all about these ready-made rigs.
Yeah, I mean, it can be complicated. There's quite a lot of different patterns, as you know. It's the same with any kind of fishing. People want a variety of rigs for different reasons, different species, different baits. What we try to do is do a small compact range that covers a couple of rigs for the boat and several of the main rigs for the shore fishing. You know, we've got flappers and we've got pulleys, the standard rigs that people want. The good thing about it is we've put them on a winder, and this is a nice easy way to store a rig on a winder. It can be taken off. Also, when you put it back on after you've used it, I mean, not everybody wants to use a rig 2 or 3 times, but often you can use a rig twice. It'll dry out on the winder and it won't corrode, whereas you put it inside one of these bags on its own completely, like most people do in a wig wallet, and it will corrode if you leave it. These winders, you can, you know, obviously put them into a rig wallet like that. What I do is I mark the actual winder. I mean, these are marked on the packet, but you can mark it with a sticker, and tells you what size hooks, what line strain you've got, all those things. But the other thing about these is that if you're in doubt as to what to tie, how to make your own, because most people will want to end up making their own, all you do is buy a few of them and copy them. It's as simple as that. And you can buy other people's makes and copy them as well if you want to. It's just a great way of, you know, learning how to tie rigs. Because not everybody wants to tie a rig like I do. There's always going to be someone that say, "I'll do it slightly different." But variety, isn't it? That's what you want.
Yeah, superb. Day 2 and our adventure in South Wales continues, and it's a little bit wet and windy today. We've come here back to Penarth to try and get out of some of this weather. It's been a real adventure, I'll tell you. Now, yesterday morning we started here at Penarth, a little bit further along the coast, and that was a very, very difficult session which didn't produce at the top of the tide as we thought we would, and it wasn't till we were almost due to pack in that Alan managed a small codling to save the morning session. From there, we shot across to Barry and we fished to the place called Friars Point. And again, we were really up against it. It didn't look as if anything was going to happen. And then, right at the last minute, class always comes through. Al caught a beautiful fish. He had a big drop back bite, and by the time he got in contact with the fish, it had swum right towards him, but it was well worth the effort. It was a beautiful bass, around 4 pounds. And today, well, we're back at Penarth, and it might be that Al's got a little bit of early action. I've just got time to tell you that we're further along the bay here. We've been dogged by foul weather. We went along the coast and we got driven back here where at least the rain isn't too bad, and we're out here on this lovely peninsula. The lads are fishing with just one rod each so they can keep moving back, and the chap standing next to Alan is a local fishing expert, Roy, and I think if I hand you over to Al, he can perhaps have a chat with Roy about the conditions and what we might expect to catch today on our afternoon session.
Well, it's quite hectic fishing here. We've got to retreat as the tide comes in. We're on a spit, a narrow spit. We'll be back inshore in a minute. But before we get there, just to introduce, this is Roy Tapper from South Wales, one of the local South Wales. He was an ex-matchman. He's a specimen hunter now. I'm pretty good at it. Roy, what do you think about our prospects are today here? Can you tell me a bit about this venue?
Well, you've had a codling already, so I think we'll get a few more as we get further up the beach.
The bigger
ones, yeah, probably 3 to 5 pound
fish. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah. What is this venue called?
This is the Ranny at Penarth, between Penarth and Lavernock. You also get strap congers here, bass. Codling will be our main thing today we're going to go for.
Yeah, it sounds good. Look, it's really spectacular looking, isn't it, out in this spit.
Yeah.
You think, well, I'm gaining a lot of ground here, but when we go in there, that is a bay in there, a hole, isn't it?
That's a bay. It's very deep there. Yeah. The fish come in, feed in the deep water, so hopefully once we get up there, we'll have a few more. Well,
what about gear, Roy? I mean, I know I'm copying you, but I'm using the standard. You're using a pulley rig.
Pulley rig.
A fairly long one.
Yeah, 3.5 foot pulley rig with a pair of 2Os on it on a pennel. Crab's the main bait here, but lugworm as well.
Lugworms does it?
Cocktails.
Black?
Yeah, black and blow, but cocktail's good. You know, a bit of blow, a bit of black, and a bit of crab.
What about range-wise? I mean,
you don't have to cast so far because you're retreating so fast. You're 50, 60 yards, and then in 10 minutes you're probably 120 yards.
And what are you fishing? You're fishing sort of 18-pound line?
18-pound line.
038. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I've got on. Although I've got a smaller reel. But you've got to get it up and in, haven't you?
Up and in, yeah.
No, notice you don't hang around.
No, it's quite clean out there. You know, it's small stones, but once you got a fish on, you got to reel really quickly.
Yeah, they'll dig their head in.
Yeah, if they dive otherwise.
Oh well, we'll back off a bit more and see if we can get one.
Yep.
I've had a set of this TF Gear Delta Marine thermal clothing for a year now, for a whole season, and put it through its paces. This is a two-piece suit. It's in breathable material, thermal lining in the inside, salopettes and a jacket. It's a nice combination if you want to control your temperature in the winter, because England's can be quite warm sometimes, even in November, and in the sunshine having a full one-piece suit on can be really uncomfortable. A lot of anglers wear flotation suits, and they wear them on the shore as well, and they can be really roasting. So I've always preferred the two-piece. Now this has got storm cuffs, nice and adjustable, so when you cast, the line don't get caught on anything. Plenty of pockets, all velcroed up. Nice strong zip. That's one of the worst parts of any kind of jacket, is not having a good zip. Like that. And even an inside pocket, you can put your mobile phone. So you've got all bases covered. Base of the trousers, the bottoms around your boots, have got plenty of adjustment. Got a zip, so you can get your boots through the suit. And a nice touch is this lining, which has got a clip on it and Velcro. Now if you're wearing rock boots or waterproof boots, most of these kind of boots, the TF Gear ones, are waterproof up to that line. So if you put this lining on, clip it up, it gives you that little bit more waterproof, and you can wade perhaps up to there. You can't wade much further, but it does give you the chance to go and fill your bucket of water or small things like that. Nice zip, Velcro, you can adjust it around there, so that gives you a little bit more. Altogether, a nice combination.
Now, one of the most important things in sea fishing, Alan, I think, and you make it look very easy, is baiting up with the different baits. And the one I'm interested in is this. It's a crab.
Peeler crab, yeah.
Yeah, I know you really rate crab, so would you show us how you prepare one of these for the hook and then actually put it on
well, the
there?
first thing to say is that the crab needs to be in the right state of peeling. Just any old crab is no good. It's obviously got to be a peeler, and the more advanced it is in the stage of peeling, the easier it is to peel, the better bait. It's got more juices. Because what the crab does, it basically grows out of its shell. It's a solid skeleton on the outside, if you like, and it grows a new shell underneath that's soft. And the fish know that, and when they come inshore looking for the crabs when they're shedding, and it seems to be quite a deadly bait. It's good for codling, not necessarily for big cod, but for codling it's really good. And this kind of ground where we've got reed and rocks, and it's a good bait. To get the best out of crab, we need to mount it on a 2-hook rig, which is called a pennel rig. Now, there's several ways of doing it. Basically, it's a hook tied to one end of the line and one sliding. You can put the sliding one on a bit of tubing if you want. I prefer to just wrap it round like that.
Yep.
To lock it in.
To lock it, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to put that crab, or at least a crab, on those 2 hooks.
Okay.
So I've got a crab here that's already ready. Right, it's nice and splitty, but that's what I say. If you look at the back, you see that gap? It's lifting off there. It's just about to come over its shell. So that's always the best crab to use. Now, they come in various sizes, and that's one of the problems, because if you've got a small crab, you know, it's not such a big bait. If you've got a big one, it might be too big and you can cut it in half. So it's a matter of gauging your bait to what you think for what you're fishing for. So we're going for codling. So we take all the shell off. You can get all the shell, the legs, all the sockets, all those bits and pieces off. Some anglers take the lungs out. Now, the reason for that is that the lungs, when the crab peels its shell, it discards the lungs.
Okay.
They stay as they are. It renews the rest of its body, but it doesn't renew the lungs. Okay. It just discards them and grows a new set. I should say it does renew them, but we think, because, you know, if you buy an edible crab, they're called dead man's fingers, and they're not good to eat, are they? They're bad for you. I've always thought that, well, if they're not good for us, they're probably not good for fish. And if you watch a bass in an aquarium, he'll go crunch, 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 and bits will come out that he don't want. Like a canary in a bowl of canary food, he picks out the bits and the shells fall out and he has the goodness. So I always take them out. A lot of other anglers do that. Right, now, for us, this is a fairly small bait, but the way to do it, you peel it. Once you've peeled it, just cut it nearly in half. And you can open it up to make it a long bait. The reason for that is that with these hooks, you can lay it along the hook rather than have a big blob. You can spread it out.
Okay.
So what we do is thread it through the leg sockets. This is going to be a codling bait. It's not. So
you're just winding it up the hook by hooking it alternately and twisting.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Make it quite neat like that. You need elastic cotton. It's an essential part of fishing with crab. Leave the point prone and just wrap the cotton around. Don't have to be fussy with it. I don't think codling know what baiting cotton is. Right, once you've done that, this sliding hook can then come down take it down to the end of the bait, wrap it round a few times and put it through.
It in. Brilliant.
And if you think about it, it's like a carp hair rig, isn't it? It's a really effective way. Now, that's quite a small bait. I could peel a few crab's legs and claws. The claws peel. See, there's a perfect little claw underneath there, and I can peel them. It's a bit fiddly, but you know, sit and do this between casts, save doing it before you cast. I just stick that on the end.
Just to fill it up a bit.
Yeah. The actual legs themselves, they come off, you just wiggle them off, and underneath is a completely new leg. Just put that on. You can put half a dozen of them on. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad used to give me the legs and he used the body, and I used to fish with the legs, catch loads of little pouting, you know, good fun. But when I could put another half on there to bulk it up a bit, you know, to make it a bigger bait, but essentially that is a great bait for codling.
Brilliant.
Right.
Now, what about this pulley rig? Because you keep talking about it. Just demonstrate to me why you've got it there. How this works.
Now, it's a nice rig. We're going to stand up for this. You can grab hold of that end.
Okay.
A pulley, pennel rig. As you saw, I put the bait on a pennel rig. That's the 2-hook configuration. The pulley rig is generally used for big fish and rough ground. It's a way of fishing a single bait over really rough ground and for big fish. And the reason it works, it's like a paternoster when you put it together, just an ordinary mono paternoster. But the essence of it is the pulley bead at the end. If you can see that.
Yeah,
it's
I'll
a bead
just show
with a
that
swivel.
to everyone at home.
Right. Now your main line goes on that swivel
so
there.
Your main line attaches to this swivel
on the bead.
Right here, which is actually an integral part of a running bead.
That's it. That's it.
Right, so your main line's tied onto there.
So it's if you can hold the bead, that's
so
why it's called a pulley.
Let's assume now the fish has taken the bait.
Well, first of all, I can show you how we cast it. I mean, it's a clipped up bait on an impact lead or a bait clip. That will make it more streamlined for casting.
Yeah.
So straight away, you haven't got to mess around with bait clips if you make one of these. You've got a bait clip on your lead, and away you go with a pulley rig. Right. Now, when it lies on the seabed, it's obviously going to land like that.
So the lead hits the water.
That comes off.
The hook comes away from the retaining part.
Yep.
And it's lying down there like this, roughly.
Now, when a fish takes the hook on a normal paternoster, if that was fixed, your fish would be coming across the bottom and across the rocks,
dragging the lead behind it.
That's it. At the same places, boom, 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 over, and you're going to get hooked up. But with this one, what happens is, once you've got the weight of the fish, it pulls the lead up. So the fish is down here and the lead's up there. That means the lead is up off the bottom, away from the snags.
Very clever.
Obviously, you've got to reel him fast, Matt.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to reel it like your life depended on it.
But essentially, we're looking at the main benefit of the rig is that as you're winding in, the lead will lift clear of any obstructions on the bottom, and that avoids the possibility of the lead getting snagged on the bottom while you're winding the fish in.
Of course, that only happens when you've got a fish on, but when you haven't got a fish on, it will come in like a conventional rig.
But that's when it's important.
Yeah, that's when you want to get the fish back.
Well done, Al. I think that's very interesting and well thought through. Now, Alan, one of the most important things when you're out sea fishing, I guess, at all times of the year, is that you've got to have the right kit to wear.
Yeah, I mean, especially footwear. As you can see, where we're fishing today, the bottom is mixed rocks, seaweed and all sorts of things, so it's slippy and it's dangerous. So these kind of boots are now standard for most sea anglers, I think, because they give you a bit of ankle support. You can feel quite safe going on rocky ground with them. Good tread, really will keep you stable. And thin shallot lining, keep you warm, and they're waterproof. I mean, not many boots nowadays, except this type of boot, that you can walk in the water with. And I mean, when I'm fishing on just a sandy shore, quite often I just want to fill my bucket up with water, so I just want to wade in, or I might be landing a fish and I want to get nearer to it. So that little bit of waterproof does help. Overall, they just keep you warm, dry and comfortable and safe. That's why I wear them.
Now you've got another item of footwear there, Alan.
Yeah, these are TF Gear chill out boots. New boot, very lightweight, new material they say, thermal lined, and a nice touch is you can take the lining out and wash it, which is very useful. They're, as I said, they're very lightweight. I think they're ideal for general beach fishing and, you know, sort of poddling around on this kind of ground where we are today, which is sand and mixed rocks and that sort of thing. Keep your feet dry and warm.
Well, I think you've got a small fish on here, Alan. We've just seen Tim just down the beach there has had a lovely bass. Beautiful fish, which Alan unhooked for him. We were just walking back now and Al's had a bite. Was that a codling or something?
I think it's something small, yeah.
But it's a fish and there's something going on.
This is about the time. Roy said that they'd be coming through now.
Yeah. Nice state of the tide. Nice light levels, I think. And that wind's just softened a little bit, made it pleasant. Got to be a bit careful bringing the fish in because we've got quite a thick band of kelp.
It's another bass on it.
Hey, look at this.
No, it ain't so coddly.
It is, yeah. I didn't think it was fighting as hard as that other one.
Bit bigger, slightly bigger.
Yeah, let's have a look.
More stocky size.
Yeah, it's a nice fish, that. Beautiful. How about that? That one was on the crab.
Yeah, on a peeler. It's on that hook.
Try and hold him steady.
It's actually on the hook I did on the demo. So
Is
the
it?
one that they saw me bait up is the one that caught the fish.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I think they're very attractive looking fish, cod, actually.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, they grow so big, the size limit's so small. I mean, that's well over the size limit.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not reached spawning size, so it can't reproduce yet. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's one of the problems. But nice fish. That's a nice table fish. That's
It
a
is
nice size
beautiful,
because that's
yeah.
one fillet. Me and the wife, one fillet each. You know, that's
Okay.
great. Just the right size. Anything around 2-3 pound is ideal for eating.
Yeah. Well done, Al. Whoa.
Whoa, mind your fingers on that hook.
Yes, I nearly managed to do myself a mischief. I shall hand it to you, sir.
Right. There we are. Best one we've had so far. I'm going to let him go. He's not big enough. I want a bigger one.
Well, it's the end of a really nice day. It's not been the easiest fishing day. Alan's had to really work at it again to try and just winkle out a couple of fish, but he's done it. And now we've got tomorrow to look forward to, and I'm just hoping that this calm weather persists, because we're going out in a boat tomorrow morning, straight out of Cardiff, and if it's like this, nice and calm, stable weather, I think we could be in for a few fish. I'm really looking forward to it. Well, last night, Alan, just before I signed off, I was talking about getting good weather, and I think we've cracked it off today, haven't we?
Yeah, it's a lot calmer, isn't it? We've still got this mist and rain everywhere, but at least it's flat.
Yeah.
We had a good run up here, and you know, what was it, 3/4 now?
Yeah. Well, we came out of Cardiff Marina. This boat's called Indiana, and it's a beautiful new boat, actually. I think this is about its 4th or 5th trip, according to Steve, the skipper. And you know, the fishing at the moment in this part of Wales has been pretty good. I'm not quite sure what we can expect. You're more of an expert. What do you think?
Well, I'm talking to the skipper. I mean, we're quite close to shore. We're just up from Aberthaw. Really, we can get anything. I mean, we've had a few dogfish to start with, which are standard everywhere, but there's a good chance of a ray.
Yep.
We've had a conger. Good chance of conger, mate. They're smaller congers. They're not sort of 30-40 pound plus, but you might get a 20. Small tote. Smooth hound even, might get a smooth hound. It's still not too late. We're only in October.
Yeah.
And I think the skipper had one last week. So we've got a bit of crab. We might try that later for a smooth hound.
Well, I'd like to catch a bass, but there you go.
Well, you never know, do you?
That's the great thing about this boat fishing, really. You've got the variety of fish, I think, at your disposal. So we've got fair conditions. We're mixing up some up-tiding with some down-tiding. And, you know, I think I'm feeling fairly optimistic. We'll see how the day unfolds.
Definitely.
Alan, sea fishing is quite a tough old game, really, when it comes to the wear and tear on gear. So I guess with lines and shock leaders, it's very important that you have the right stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the safety angle, because obviously if a line breaks and a lead goes flying off at an angle, it's possible to, you know, injure someone. So you've got to be aware of that, and that's why most anglers go for quality line, as well as with the shock leaders, a strong, good quality. Work out the strain of breaking strain by multiplying the ounce of the lead by 10. So if you've got a 4 ounce lead, you want 40 pound. If you've got a 6 ounce lead, you want 60 pound leader. Most of the leaders are available in 50, 60, 70, 80 some people use, but that's extra safety in a field or in a crowded area. The range we've got pretty good range of line. This Nantec mono is available in 3 colours. It's clear, red mist and gunsmoke, and it's £6 to £30 in the range. 035 is about your £15, which is what a lot of sea anglers use. And you can see it's the clear it's a nice clear line, quite supple, no memory, not too much coiling. I've used it now for a season, and I'm quite pleased with it.
What about these shock leaders, Alan?
Well, the shock leader, I mean, obviously if you're casting with a 6-ounce lead with £15 line, then you risk breaking the line as the cast. The lead just will break the line and it will go off. So you need a stronger length of stronger line at the head of your line just to take the shock of casting. As I said, that's how you work it out, by multiplying the ounce of lead by 10. So we've got a £60 leader. Now you want something that will tie a knot, that will set in a knot nicely. You don't want it to be too brittle or stiff, and of course it's got to be tough. These spools are 100-metre spool, which keep you in leaders for ages. You can also get this one in red. Now red's handy. Fishing a crowded pier and you've got cross lines, it's handy to be able to see where your tangles are. And of course, if you're in a tournament field, which a lot of people do go practice casting, and you lose your leader or you lose your line, you snap your line, you can find it easier if it's red. Okay. Or if you're really into leaders, tapered leaders are even better, because they are obviously they taper from say 15 to 60 pounds, so you're tying the 15 pound in to the 15 pound of your main line, so it allows you for a much smaller knot. That's better if you're using a fixed spool reel, where you don't want the knot sticking out and catching up the loops as you cast out. And obviously day glow orange really does show up in the field, so that's great. Most of us, I would prefer the clear. We fish in a lot of dirty water in the UK. It's very often chocolate brown, but when I fished abroad in clear water, I have found that coloured lines do spook the fish a bit. So I tend to use, if I'm using in clear water at all, I always use clear mono. There's 5 on these spools of tapered leaders. Well worth the extra cost, because the other thing with them is you can stick one of them in your box, and if you lose your leader, you can tie one on quickly. With the thicker leader, you need a knot like a bimini or a uni knot, and it takes a little bit longer. This one you can just use a straight blood knot. So
just to recap, you've got tapered leaders, 5 on the spool, level shock leader on its own spool, you get 100 metres, then you've got your £1/4 spools of your reel mono.
These 4-ounce spools, I mean, that's advice to people. When you're buying line, it works out about 300 metres on a standard fixed spool or multiplier reel. So you want to divide the spool size, the amount of line on there, by that 300, and that will give you a rough, so you don't end up with 150 yards of no use. So these will do 3 fills, that's the idea. £15. Adjust my grip lead so it'll give me plenty of grip. Now, casting in a boat is obviously a bit dangerous, so you always want to make sure that everybody's aware you're going to cast, and also you never cast with the bait or the weight or anything in the boat. Hang it outside. And the idea is you get the bait out away from the noise area of the boat. That's what uptiding does. A couple of guys from the Thames Estuary, Cox and Rule, they really invented uptide casting many years ago. It's been improved and specialised since then. We've got proper rods for uptiding, but essentially it's to get the bait away from the scare area and noise of the hull of the boat. And it works quite well in shallow water. It's not so good over deep water, but works well in shallow water. Right, we let a big loop out, so we've got a slack line, and the lead's anchored in opposite or up tide, and then when a fish takes the bait, it'll pull the lead out and it'll trundle downside. Usually it'll hook itself. I've got here the latest addition to the TF Gear boat range, which is the Banshee triple tip. It's got obviously the butt section and 3 separate different tips, a 10, a 20 and a 30-pound class, so you can adapt to the lead weight you're using, the species, that kind of thing. Fish lighter or heavier as you put. It's got SIC rings, obviously ring for a multiplier, breaks down into 2 sections, so it's 3'6", 4-foot sections. Nice screw winch fitting, solid, and some quality grips. It's an ideal rod for the novice to start, not a lot of money. To complement the boat rod range, we've got a range of multipliers. This is the Delta. It's a standard boat size reel. It's the 20L. Got a capacity of about 250 of 20 pound. It's got a 1-piece graphite frame, 1-piece alloy spool, standard type star drag, quite sensitive. Nice handle for grip. Level line, a lot of anglers like level line. It does help you put the line on, especially when you're using braid. Line out alarm, the old clicker. Got one of them. All round, a great reel. Goes with the Banshee, definitely.
What do you think you got on here, Alan?
Well, it could be a conger, I suppose. It was quite a violent bite.
Yeah, nice bend in the rod.
That's part of the fun, I know. It's not a dogfish. Unless it's 2 dogfish.
No, it's not a dogfish.
But I've caught 2 on a pennel before now. No, I don't think it's a dogfish.
Well, we're getting plenty of bites, Al. Can't say we're not.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's a nice fish, that.
There's plenty of tide there, so it's obviously makes it harder to get them up.
Pulling back a little bit, that one. Good sign. That's the great thing about fishing in places like this, though, isn't it? You never know what's going to pop up next.
No. You don't get colour, though.
No.
Like in clear water.
Well, there's plenty of colour in the water.
You don't just get to see it coming up. So we won't know until it breaks
That's
surface.
a good fish, that is,
No,
Al,
I don't think it's that big.
Turned into a 7-stone
No,
weakling.
I'm just taking it easy, don't want to lose it.
No.
Oh, it's a cod. It's a cod.
Wow. Nice.
It's a cod. Skip.
Nice one, Al. Well done.
That's what we come here for.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Time for a nice one, yeah.
Beautiful.
Old bucket mouth.
Yeah.
Not a monster, but he'll do.
Big enough.
Well done.
He's
well done. I shall leave you to deal with it.
That's what we come for. One of those. It's about 5.5, 6 pound. A sort of big codling. Not really a cod, but a big codling. But a nice size. You can get a few fillets off that. And you can see the size of the mouth. While we're using great big baits, they've just got a big mouth. There's plenty of teeth in there too. They look pretty small and harmless, but don't put your fingers in there, because they can rip your fingers to pieces. Best place to hold them is under the gill like that, especially if you want to take a photograph. He's the same family as the pouting, the whiting, even the rockling's in the same family. A gaddidae. A sort of bottom grubbing, eat everything that comes along fish. That's one thing about cod, they'll take any old bait most times, especially from the boat. I mean, squid is a pretty good bait for cod. Some areas ragworm. Where I come from, it's lug, and lug is all you catch them on.
Alan, tell us about this shelter.
Well, I'm a brolly man usually, but the shelter is great when you want a more permanent home on the beach. You know, I mean, when you've got a long expanse of low tide area and you're on the move all the time, a shelter's not very good. A brolly's better. But when you're on the top of the beach and you're going to be there all night, 6 hours, there's nothing beats a real proper shelter where you can get all your gear in, because I hate having wet gear, don't you, Matt? Terrible. So all your gear's in. You can retreat if it really rains, and there you are, all your bait stays dry, and that's important. It's collapsible, it slots up, doesn't weigh too much. It's about the length of your standard rod, so you can roll it up and it goes in a tube, and you put it in your rod holder and you can carry it a fair distance. It's waterproof, obviously. Got canopies on the side. These fold up, you can have them wide open, or you know, they roll up and like that if you want it open. If there's a bit of rain in, then you know you can have them out. But the site, putting it down is important. Here we're on sand, but we're using rocks. We're using a few rocks inside on the canopy, but you can use beach stones, even a bag of sand or a bag of pebbles, whatever, just to hold it down. And you want to make sure that your face is away from the wind and you put it down securely in the first place, because you don't want to be messing around with it blowing away while you're reeling or fishing. No, overall, great. If you want to keep warm and dry when you're fishing, this is what you want.
Now Al, these boxes here take me back to the early days of my course fishing.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as elaborate as some of the modern course ones, with legs and all these sort of things, but of course on the seashore, you're a bit more of the elements, and they've got to be a bit more rugged, withstand the rain and the wind, and of course you've got to carry them, because you can't really put them on a trolley. I mean, a trolley will work in some instances, but most venues you've got to tote the box. They've got a strap, a shoulder strap, and that's a bit of a backbreaker, that is. I mean, over the years, somebody who's as old as me been carrying one of them on the back, it's not a good idea, does the back in. You can get a frame for them, of course, which is this one, and it doubles as a backrest, so you can sit down and you've got comfort while you're walking. And it's surprising how well that is. That's as good as a rucksack. Now, the other thing about them is, of course, the bigger the box, the more you tend to put in them. So my advice to anybody is to buy the box that you want for the the amount of tackle, and don't just keep piling stuff in it. As it weigh a ton, you never get it up the pier or wherever. Other extras on this one, you've got a bait tray. You can get one for either side. You can put your bait. It's there handy. But generally, I mean, they're very functional for sea angling. Just what you want. Don't weigh a lot either.
Perfect. I don't know yet. I am in. He shoots and he scores. I've got to be a little bit careful of pulling the hooks on the fish with this braid. So I lost a really good fish earlier on. The first fish I hooked was taking line. It was a lovely fish, and just near the end of the fight I pulled the hooks on him. So I'm a little bit wary now. This one's coming up in the water, so I've no idea what that means. But it is coming up. It could be a dogfish. Oh no, it is. Crikey. Alan gets a cod, and look what I've got.
Was that giant bait, Matt?
Yes. Worked its way down, the biggest bait in the world. I'm not even going to let you see it, it's so horrible.
Oh, it's a big dog.
Yeah. It's a big dog. Right, I shall increase the
Right, I'm casting.
increase the size of my bait even more.
Bait we've got for this trip has been excellent. We've got some really nice bait. I'll go for the crab first. The peeler crab. Now, we brought these along in case there might be a smooth hound around. They tend to just pick them out, pick the smooth hounds out. But they catch a load of other baits. But most of the time out here, when we were looking at rays and congers and things like that, squid and mackerel are the main baits. And we did have a cod earlier, and we caught that on ragworm, tipped with a lump of squid. There's a similar bait, but it's lugworm.
It's a work of art. It's like a big long kebab.
That's right. That's right. Well, did you notice that we're catching a few dogfish?
I can't say I've noticed.
Well, we
that
try to
much.
put a big bait on to keep them off, but
Yeah.
it seems to have the reverse effect, doesn't it? It seems to attract them more. Well, you can put a whole squid or two squid on.
Yeah.
There's the regular pennel rig, which we're all using, with two hooks in it, and that supports the squid. And that's a nice big fish bait. We've got lugworm here. I mean, these are common lugworm. They're big ones, big specimens.
Beautiful, yeah.
Got a bunch of them, and all the juice and blood in them coming out in the water is going to set up a trail. That's why we're changing our bait quite regularly, put new on quite regularly to keep the the trail going.
Well, it may not be the prettiest thing in the world, but it's certainly top quality stuff. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I don't think you can go undercooked with bait, can you? That's the problem. It's the main thing. It's what the fish are going to be taking you up. They're going to be after the bait that's on it. So it's important to go for the right bait, and you want to take enough as well. I mean, we've got plenty today, but it's quite easy to go out in a boat, especially the boat, and not have enough bait. You don't want to run out just when the fish are coming. So yeah, a bit of frozen. I mean, that's easy to.
Well, I think
easy to carry.
I've fed most of mine to the resident dogfish population. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
well,
expensive dogfish, I'll tell you.
I've watched your baits get bigger and bigger.
They are.
That's
Yeah.
the only way to do it. Bigger hooks, bigger bait.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to have a pull in and put some of this on. What do you reckon?
Yep, me too. Yep.
Yeah, you got something on there.
It's not very big. I think this could be the dreaded enemy. Well, I've got a fish on here, but it's
No.
not.
Doggy.
No,
Doggy.
no. Yes, I've been trying to avoid them. It's my old favourite, the dogfish. Well, I can't complain. I've had a conger already this morning, but I must admit I was hoping not for something other than a dogfish. I put a really big bait on as well. Now I've got to start again. What's that you got on there, Al? That looks all right,
I don't think it's very big.
isn't it? You're
No.
just making a meal of it, or?
It pulled a little bit more than a doggy, so it's not a doggy. It's definitely pulling.
Well, the
Might be
way it's
another-
hanging
might be
on
another
it,
codling, yeah.
the way it's hanging on, it looks a good fish to me. That's a good fish, that is. I'm telling you, it's hanging on.
I'm letting it enjoy itself. It's all right. You do this until it comes off.
Well, that looks like a good fish to me. I think you're lulling us all into a false sense of security, Alan.
No, it's a 5 pound, 6 pound fish. It's not any bigger than that. It's doesn't weigh that much, but there's a lot of tide running. It's getting heavier, Matt. Getting bigger all the time. Well, it's turned into a better fish than it started. It's a cod, and it's a big one. Oh,
See it?
a bigger cod.
Show us what to do, yeah?
That's a proper bucket mouth, that is. Shot. Well done, Skip.
That's a beauty.
Well done, Al. That's a
That's a
beauty.
good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's bigger than I thought I'd
well,
get,
that's a
actually.
cod.
That's a proper cod, isn't
That,
it?
that is a cod.
A winter
Beautiful.
cod.
Yeah. See, I told you it was a good fish.
But I won't tell you what happened there. I had some extra line out.
Yeah.
I'm down tided on that rod, and I'd let a little bit of line out, and a bit too much, and I'd seen the bite. It looked like a dogfish.
Yeah.
And I was reeling up slack, obviously catching the bow up. And
Exactly.
Because I've only got a little plain lead on, a little 6-ounce trotnik down the tide, trying to get it away from the boat.
Yeah.
And
There you go. Well, that's a lovely fish, mate. Well done. And the skipper's coming in to weigh it.
I'll give
Yes,
it
look at that.
11.7.
12-8.
12.8.
I'm not, a lot of people exaggerate, don't they?
Yeah.
I underestimate.
Yeah, very nice, mate. Well done.
Well, it's my best cod this year,
Is it?
because it's winter now, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
So we should be catching cod now.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's get that
Beautiful.
bit in the boat.
Right, Alan, rods. Just talk us through the rods that you've got here.
Well, we've got a couple of additions to the Delta range, which has proved quite popular. They're not budget rods, but they're not top end. They're middle of the road sort of cost-wise, and they're proving popular because they're a good entry in for a novice, straight into a proper rod. Not a cheap one, a proper rod. This is for the long distance casters and those that want to whack it a really long way, fish with a reel down. It's a 3-piece 16-footer. nice and compact, drops away into your car boot quite easily with being 3 pieces. And the actual build, it's slightly softer than some of the more powerful blanks. Now the word soft frightens a lot of casters, but the fact is if you can bend a rod, you're going to get some return out of it. And you'll find that if you can bend a rod fully to its maximum, you'll get the maximum out of it. With a real low, you can really time your cast nicely, and it's very forgiving. I mean, I'm a match angler and I want to get my gear in the water quick, and I'm often in a hurry, and you can make mistakes when you're in a hurry. With the real low and a long rod, you just don't do that. You don't get a bird's nest, and it'll go out every time. Obviously, a few lessons won't go amiss if you're a complete novice. It's got all the standard. These rings are as tough as anything. They'll withstand dropping. I'm very impressed with these rings. White section on the tip for a bit of bite indication. Bit of a grip on the spigot makes it easier to get it apart when it's wet. That's quite a valuable point actually, because you can't, you know, you've been stuck probably with your rod stuck and got a mate to give you a hand. That bit of grip makes a difference. Shrink wrap handle and the all important adjustable reel seat. So if you don't want the reel low down, you can put it up there. If you want it in the middle, you can put it where you like, and that's one of the beauties of this reel seat. And that's about that.
Okay, what about fixed ball then?
Right, well, the second one, the second rod will actually cope with a fixed ball or a multiplier, and it's a little bit for the matchman and the clubman in sea angling. Those that want to see a bite, it's a quiver tip. It's got 3 different tips that go in the top, so you can slot to suit the weight of lead you're using, or the conditions, or the sea conditions, or the species. Tips slot in the bottom here, the spare ones, so they're always with you. Again, it's 3-piece, so it'll slot away easy. As you can see, these rings are slightly bigger than the multiplier ones, but there's plenty of them, so you can use it with braid, or you can use it with a multiplier with the reel on the top if you want it. Again, adjustable reel seat, put it where you like. Overall, this rod's a nice one for those in the club anglers that want to see bites, that want to fish on the pier, the beach, and general sort of snatching match fishing, small fish, that kind of thing, you know. It's not the rod for a whole squid, it's the rod for 3 maddies on each hook. Great rod.
Well, we've moved position now. Alan's had a couple of nice cod. I've had a conger and an absolute pile of dogfish. Enough to last me a lifetime, I think, Al. But
That's right.
we've moved on to a sandy area, so I guess we're after rays, are we?
Yeah, we're on a bank, we're on a sandbank, and the rays tend to get on the edges of it. They sit off out the tide and then come out the sand and feed. That's the theory anyway.
Yeah.
But it usually works out like that. And if you can get just on the edge of the sandbank, it's usually the bait. I think we've got a chance of a blonde, small-eyed, maybe even a thornback.
Yeah, well, that would be great. I will say, actually, when we were fishing on the last spot, I mean, I've fished all over the world with all sorts of people, and Alan deployed a tactic by bouncing a light lead down from the boat, down tiding. The idea being to get it away from the disturbance, and that made a lot of sense to me. It was a good tactic, Alan. You know,
Yeah,
well done, mate. That was a good bit of fishing
A lot
to
of
produce
boat
that
anglers
big,
go in
big
the
cod.
boat and they use one lead.
Yeah.
You know, a pound or 8 ounces. I mean, braid allows you to use lighter leads, and you can fish with an ounce in some situations. And of course, the lighter the tide, the lighter the lead you need to get it away
Yeah.
from the boat.
Well, you would
can if
literally just bounce it
yeah,
down,
you
weren't
can feel it as long as you don't let a big loop of line out. If you let a big loop of line out, all that happens is the line goes out in a big loop,
Yeah.
and your bait stays there. So you've got to just lift it and bounce it back, let out a little bit of line each time.
But
See,
it
I've been
makes-
doing it here now. I need slightly lighter lead.
Mm.
It's very little.
Not
time.
moving. Well, the tide's slackened. That should be good for a ray, I would have thought.
Well, it's raised now.
Well, we've had to change leads a few times today, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, that's the especially with up tiding, you've got to hold the bottom. It's no good it just dragging you down. You end up down tiding.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, we started with a breakaway, which is quite popular. That just snaps out, the wires just snap out. You know, so I can get hold of it like that. So it makes it easier to retrieve. Around this area, obviously, the tides are a bit stronger through the Bristol Channel right up through this area, so you tend to use a fixed wire grip lead. There's a bit of debate on how best to bend it, you know, whether to bend it like that. I mean, obviously this is the way the skipper bends his.
Yeah.
So
Always a good sign.
That's a good sign, isn't it? I mean, where I come from, I bend it like that because quite often, if you do catch up, it sort of slides off things, you know. And then we've also been down tiding. You can use a variety of leads for that. I mean, I like the old ball lead. If the tide permits it, you know, you can trundle it back behind the boat. You might have to use, with braid, I wouldn't think you'd have to use much more than 12 ounces. And you can get away with 5 or 6, that's good, even 3 or 4 sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you bend it like Beckham, Al?
Yeah, I can. This stuff, look. Look, that's soft. That's stiffer. You can obviously get different wire strengths.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can bend mine like Beckham, look, brilliant. The basic rig we're using is a flowing trace. We're using it for the up tiding and down tiding. It's quite a simple rig and it's one of the most effective for sea fishing from the boat. We've got a short boom. You can use, there's several types you can use, really short ones, a bit longer. This is obviously a tubular boom, it's running on the main line. Then you've got a swivel with a clip and a short trace. Length of the trace varies. Some places you want a bit longer, some short you can get away with. Quite a strong line, we've got 60 pound there because we might get a conger or something big, so it's not going to put many of the species off. Pennel rig, 4 O's, a couple of 4 O's. You can use bigger, I mean if you're using a really big bait. Not tied on the end of the first hook. The other one slides by the eye, up the line. And when you put the bait on, you just wrap the line around the hook. Then you can space it to however long the bait is. And that's about it really. Lead, I've got a ball lead because I'm down tiding, but you can use a heavy one if the tide's stronger or a lighter one if it's weaker. It's just a matter of gauging the right lead for the conditions. I've got a leader on here, mono leader, then I've got that onto braid. So I don't really need a lot of lead because braid cuts through the tide better than mono.
Right, Alan, now not everyone wants to buy the most expensive, stiffest rod around, and there are a lot of people who are looking for rods to do specific jobs. This one's a little bit different. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's the Banshee, and it's a twin tip quiver tip. You got the other one there. It's slightly more sensitive. Use it with a fixed ball or a multiplier reel. It's the bottom end, I would say, for the sort of budding club angler wants to get into match fishing in the summer. Even if you're continental fishing, you want to go on holiday and fish the Med and places like that. It's the right kind of balance, right kind of action. Also not a bad rod for a lady. There's another version of this that's a bit more expensive, but I mean for the beginner this is the ideal rod to start if you want to do match fishing and that sort of thing.
And if you were looking for a second rod for summer fishing maybe, that's
it, that sums it up. Garfish, mackerel, mullet, bass, that kind of thing with a float or just fishing off the end of the pier. That's where you want something light. You want to use £10, £12, £15 line.
And what's it made from?
Well, it's carbon fibre. The tips, there's 2 of them. One is a carbon fibre tip, it's a bit stiffer, like that. And the other one, which is fiberglass, is a little bit more flexible.
Should have poked me with that one, you see.
Yeah. But that shows the bites. What you want that when the tide's strong, and it shows a rattly bite, whereas this one would soak up the tide. So this one's slack water. It shows the bites nice and slack water. But yeah, nice combination.
But it's hard to believe it's the same day now. We've come back towards Cardiff, we're not far outside the marina, and this is a nice spot, Steve reckons, for a ray, possibly a thornback. And it's absolutely beautiful. The sun's shining, the wind's dropped, the tide's running nicely, everything is absolutely perfect. So it'd be really good to finish off with a nice fish, but it doesn't really matter if we don't, because we've had a great day anyway. But you must do a lot of this sort of thing. Have you got any advice for people about charter boats and booking them?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is nowadays is to look for the proper charter boats. They're all DTI registered and regulated now. They've got so many rules and regulations. It's a bit of a so-and-so for the skippers, all the regulations, but they are well equipped and very safe. That's the one thing. Also, you want a skipper who's been around a bit. I mean, we've got a brand new boat here with an old skipper. Let's say a seasoned skipper who knows his stuff. So that's the first thing you want to look for. Of course, the problem is if you want to book a charter skipper up that's popular, he's going to be booked every weekend. So you may get out on the weekdays, and a lot of charter skippers now offer you a one-day instant sort of service where you can go out on an individual charter, and they'll call you up and say, we're going tomorrow and we've got 6 places, a window in the weather, and that's a great way to catch fish, some big fish. Other than that, I mean, this is a catamaran, which is, they've got quite a nice lot of deck space, cats, and they ride nice in the sea. They're not that good in really rough weather, but I don't think, because I've been on a few early cats that bump you all over the place. But overall, the cats are quite popular now, and more skippers are getting them. Obviously, they're fishing further afield. They've got bigger engines, they're faster, but of course diesel's expensive, so the price is going up. Expect us to pay over £60 per person per rod. You'll get some deals for a group of you if you're regular.
Yeah.
The other important thing is, give the skipper a ring on the night before you go and check over what he's fishing for, where he's going, whether he's going, what the weather's going to be like, because he might be able to get to a wreck, he might only be able to get inshore, and it's best to go prepared with the right tackle. So give him a ring, have a chat. On the boat, I mean, there's so many people around that really are terrible on the charter boat. They bang their leads against the gunnels. They cut bait on the gunnels. I've actually seen people do that. And you must remember, it's the skipper, it's his boat, and it's his livelihood. The other thing is, a lot of people, they go where they like. You don't usually go into the cabin without him saying, righto boys, come in here out of the weather or whatever. It's just common sense really, but there's so many people that do really, well, they treat it like their tackle box, and it's not the thing to do. But you can get some really good fishing, and there's a lot of good charter skippers around the UK.
Well, I've had a great day today on Indiana, and all I'm hoping for now is one last hurrah, and it not being a dogfish. That'll do me.
Yeah, it'll be a nice big thornback ray. What do you think? Thornback?
I don't know enough about it, but it looks like it's a decent fish to me. Yes, it's definitely a ray, isn't it?
I don't know, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I
saw
saw
it
it.
come out of the water.
Yeah, it is, it's a ray.
Good. That's what we want. We're missing a ray, aren't we?
Yeah.
Gently does it.
Oh, we don't want this to come off now. We've waited all this time for a ray, and now Alan's finally hooked one right at the death. We don't want the hooks to pull. It's a nice fish actually, I think. Oh,
Yeah.
worth the wait.
That's not a ray. That's not a ray. It's a cod.
Well, it's not a dogfish, mate.
It's a cod. I'm good at the cod, I told you.
Well, I could have sworn it was a ray then.
It's another cod.
Well done, mate.
Squid and ragworm on 260s. Look at it. Not as big as the others, but it's still nice size and nice fit fish, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I reckon we've had an absolutely cracking day, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a great way to finish sitting here like this in these fantastic autumn temperatures, really, with no wind. Beautiful. Cardiff in the background, a cod in hand.
Yeah.
Does life get any better than that?
Yeah, I think we've got to thank Indiana and its crew for a really good day. They worked
Yep.
their socks off to get us some fish.
Yeah, it's been a
Been
good
up
finale.
and down everywhere.
Well done, boys.
Yeah, well done, boys.